Air. It's one of the biggest building blocks of life, but our air supply is finite, and it is ever diminishing due to an unrelenting enemy. Welcome to the video. Today we'll be talking about air pollution. One of the most dense types of air pollution is smog, a yellowy brown haze that can cause possible health problems. It is the result of burning fossil fuels and coal, such as coal and petrol. Smog is a type of air pollution. Air pollution causes health complications such as breathing problems due to high levels of CO2, which are usually burned in direct relation to vehicle emissions and large-scale factories. Here's a short yet funny explanation of air pollution.
Air pollution comes from several sources, commonly the combustion of fossil fuels. They come from sources such as vehicle emissions, industrial emissions, coal and gas-fired power plants, and even from burning wood for waste disposal or heating. These sources are just a few of the many leading contributors of greenhouse gases, which cause climate change. Air pollution has a negative impact on human health, the environment, and the economy. However, fortunately, there are ways to protect yourself from air pollution. Some of the ways are watching for local air quality advisories, which offer advice to limiting physical and outdoor activity when the air quality is deteriorating. You can also take an alternative form of transportation, that is, try to walk or take a bike when going somewhere, rather than taking a car or bus.
But there are safe havens that have not been directly affected by air pollution as others. Cleaner air is not always found in clean environments. Air pollution travels throughout the ozone layer. Air pollution causes breathing problems as well as some types of cancer, but not only causes problems for humans, but also Mother Nature. Air pollution causes the Earth to retain sun's beams and heat up the world and melt the ice caps. Air can be clean and refreshing, but air pollution is always present. Air can be clean and refreshing, but air pollution is always present in some way, slowly eating through the ozone. If we don't stop and change soon, we'll all end up paying the ultimate price, one way or another.
We're here with George Martinez from Dominican Republic, the capital city of Santo Domingo.
Thank you, Justin.
Pleasure.
Very nice to be here today.
What's your thoughts about air pollution in Santo Domingo?
Santo Domingo, well, I've lived in many different countries and stuff, and I think it's by far the worst because the government has very little law restriction on the amount of air pollution that comes from factories, and so it makes it a little bit hard to live there because the air is always so muggy and it's so dirty, and I think for people who visit there, they'll have the same kind of experience.
And did it affect your breathing at all?
It did, but I fortunately only lived there for a year. But I think if I lived there for more than a year, I'd probably develop something bad because the air pollution is really bad there.
Thank you, Josh. Back to you, Whitman.
Here's an interview of Yemi about Nigeria.
I have a special guest today. His name is Yemi Fatoye, and he is from one of the worst polluted countries in the world, Nigeria. Thank you for coming out today, Yemi.
My pleasure.
I just have a few questions for you, and you'll be on your way.
Okay.
What is the air pollution like in Nigeria, and how did you handle it?
It was pretty good actually, until you came to downtown Nigeria. Lots of factories there, so therefore it was quite thick, and you often had to wear a mask.
So did it affect your breathing at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
Thank you, Yemi, and thank you for your time. Thanks for coming out.
No problem.
So that's it on this fine Friday. Back to you, Whitman. Here's Kasra with Evan Whitman interviewing him about Iran.
Thank you, Justin. Now we have an interview with Kasra. He went to
Iran.
In Iran, how was the air pollution?
Horrible. really bad.
Did you have any breathing problems? When you ran or did anything physical, did you have wheezing or any sort of...
Yes, it was impossible to breathe.
Thank you. Back to you, Justin. Kasra was later interviewed again due to inexperienced interviewers.
Today I'm here with a special guest from Iran in the Middle East. His name is Kasra Khadem. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Justin. Really appreciate it.
So, what's your comments on the air pollution in Iran?
It's really bad. They actually have to shut down schools and buildings, and people can't go to work and go outside because it's that bad.
Did you ever have breathing problems because of this situation?
Yeah, it's really hard to breathe, it's really bad. Really bad.
Could you notice it in the air?
Oh yeah, you can just see it everywhere. It's like fog.
Well, that is nasty.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
So, that's it on this fine Saturday morning. Back to you, Evan Whitman. I, Justin Shane, have an exclusive interview with Hannah Gibb. Today we're here with a guest from Atlanta, Georgia. She was raised there for 7 years, and let's get her in here. Her name is Hannah Gibb. Thanks for coming out.
Hello.
She's a little nervous, so just take it easy. So how was the air pollution in Georgia?
I lived on a farm, so I did not experience much air pollution in that part of the United States.
And I believe you've been to New York, which is a very air polluted city. Can you compare that in any way to Georgia?
Well, obviously, since it is a very polluted city, there's a lot more pollution and a lot of smog. You experience a lot of smog and all the tall buildings and the extremities that we experience from all of the pollution from the cars is very extreme in New York City compared to next to a cow field in Georgia. So.
Thank you for taking your time out on this fine Friday to get an interview with WBS News. So thanks for coming out.
Okay, thank you.
I'll cut that last thing.
Back to you, Whitman. Thank you, Whitman. Today we have a special guest from two very important cities in the world, that is Athens and Istanbul. Her name is Marintina Pepelasis, and she is from those cities, or has been to. Come in, Marintina. Pleasure for you to be here. What are your comments on the air pollution in these two cities?
Well, it's pretty bad. The biggest effect it's had is that the statues on the Acropolis and many of the old buildings in Istanbul, the air pollution has been eating away at the marble and rock. In most of these statues are marble. You can see either the faces of the statues have disappeared, or there's the marbles are very smooth because the air pollution has been eating away at the rock.
Wow. And what are your comments on Istanbul?
Well, there is a church, a mosque called the Hagia Sophia, which was built during the Byzantine Empire, and the rock is very rough or smooth at parts, and not only is it getting old, but air pollution is definitely speeding up its aging process.
Wow, that is a very good comment for you. Thanks for coming out today.
Thanks for having me.